This is Josiah Plays Pillars of Eternity. Get back into what I was doing. I had just entered First Fires for the first time. And I'm going to do some exciting stuff there. I'm much more well rested than the last time I streamed, which was last night. So this should go better. I shouldn't be like halfway falling asleep at the keyboard this time. Let me just move my mic a little bit closer here. I listened to the I kind of skimmed through them to check the quality, the videos of the last couple streams I did, and I'm really happy with the way the audio sounds now compared to before. It's such a night and day difference. It might not sound quite as good as some.
Your coloration, Kana. You're an island Omawa, aren't you? What's it like in Deadfire? I've only heard tall tales.
I wouldn't really know. I've never been to any of the Deadfire settlements, and my parents told me very little, mostly pirate. From time to time, my mother says she misses the quiet of her village, but little else. She has always pushed my sisters to do what she could not as a child.
I don't miss my village. It's all just bad memories and the reek of fish guts to me now.
Interesting. We've heard a little bit more just now about how Pallegina and Kana feel about their homes, as they're both far from home. As am I. Whereas, we don't know exactly where Grieving Mother's from, like what part of the world it was in. But we know that Adair and Durance are fairly local to this region. Area I believe is called the Eastern Reach, within the larger world of Aorus, which is the whole planet basically. There's one area that is the area that's marked on the map. Now this world map is actually just a small little sliver of it. The actual big map, I don't have it up to where I can show it to you right now, but the big map that they've shown that comes with the game is of the whole area called the Eastern Reach, which includes the Valian Republics, and it includes Red Saris, which is mentioned, and some other surrounding areas right around Deerwood. But that's actually just a small part of the whole world. All of these other places where your characters can be from, like where I'm from, which is Old Vailia, and like the Deadfire Archipelago, which is where Kana's from, and Nasatok, which is and you know, all these other places, and Pallegina actually she's from the Valian Republics though, not from. And see, he's from the Deerwood. He's from the Deerwood. But Rawatai, yeah, is over there by the Deadfire Archipelago. Oh, and she's from the Deerwood too. Okay. But all the places you can choose to be from for your main character, which are like Old Vailia, the White That Wends, Rawatai, the Deadfire Archipelago, or Eder. All of those places are across the ocean, so they're all very far away from the Eastern Reach, which is the gameplay area. So no matter where you choose for your character to be from in this game, you are not from anywhere around here. So that's why all the NPCs say, they say things like, oh, you seem like a foreigner, you seem like you're not from around here. They'll say that no matter which background you choose, because all of the backgrounds are from far away. Whereas most of the NPC companions are from around here, with the exceptions of, say, Hana, who's from Rawatai, or what do you call her? Sagani, who's from Nasatok, which is also far away. So, anyway, I kind of went off on a tangent there. I'm not sure why. I guess that's just because it's what I do. Something just happened here at the stronghold. You know what? I was looking at my achievements on Steam, though, and I've gotten a bunch of them, but you know what I did not get? I did not get the achievement for building all upgrades at the Stronghold. And you can pretty plainly see that I've built all upgrades at the Stronghold, so unless there's something else that comes along that unlocks later that you can build, I don't know what's going on with that achievement, but maybe you have to have 8 of 8 hirelings to get it. Don't know. I'm not gonna hire another hireling right at the moment, though. But a thing happened here. Somebody showed up. A distant relative of Nyrid has arrived at the Stronghold requesting they be freed in exchange for coin. So I could let Nyrid go and take 700 copper for him. Which doesn't seem like I'm going to be able to do much else with him, so I'm sort of tempted to do so. Did this have an expiration? Doesn't say there's an expiration, so it's not doing me all that much good to keep him in my dungeon, to be honest. So I think I'll do it. I think I'll take the 700 copper and let him go. Does it say anything in my log about that? No, it doesn't. So I'll just take the 700. I could use it for the good of the realm or whatever. Okay, so here I am. I'm in First Fires.
Of course.
If you're a scholar, you'll want to visit the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. The Copper Lane Marketplace has everything you could ever want to buy. Why is this person giving me Copper Lane related dialogue? Nice to see you. Thanks, I guess. See, everything they're talking about is in Copper Lane. I don't want some Copper Lane NPC up in my shit right now. I'm trying to do First Fires. Alright. I can talk to Connor real fast.
Yes, my friend?
Do you know anything about this place? This is the city's heart, named after the sacred fires that burn in Magran's name, and home to Crucible Keep and the Ducal Palace. You'll note the increased number of Crucible Knights about as a result. Let's be on our way. Alright, so I'm noticing my voice is a little bit hoarse sounding today, and I'm not quite sure why, because my throat doesn't hurt at all. But anyway, so I didn't know that the fires referred to the fires of Magran. There's not like a temple of Magran here or anything. So that's right, there's only 4 like buildings here basically. There's the Valiant Embassy, the Ducal Palace, Crucible Keep, all of which are huge, and then yeah, there's the Temple of Wotica, which looks like it's ruined, so most of it's going to be underground. Oh, and there's this ruined tower here. I'm not sure what that's about, but I guess we'll find out in a moment when we go there.
Of course.
Does this Justicar say anything different in this area? No, we said that before. Yeah, no, it looks like he's got the standard Justicar text. Oh, yeah.
And what does the flame reveal?
But I am going into super sneaky fast mode. These nobles are injured. What? Hello, commoner. Goose and Fox, another thing talking about Copper Lane. The legacy, when will it end? It's nice to see that somebody cares about the issues facing the Deerwood. It is imperative that we find a solution to this catastrophe. It's good someone's fixing the lighthouse. Onder's gift needs some class. Nice to see you. Like this is all dialogue that we've seen before. Okay. So there's a big debate on this whole animancy thing. Some people love it, some people hate it. So here's a ruined tower. Couple of... Are these guys? Yeah, they're Vibrant Histories. You can tell from the yellow nameplate. What do we have going on here? The stones of this ancient tower have been blackened by centuries-old fires. Surrounded by a patch of wildflowers that looks like a memorial. Okay, Lyranor. Let's see what you got going on with your teal robes and hat. Vibrant History. Reach out for the soul. You see a dimly lit street lined with buildings. Most of them are dark and quiet, but one at the edge of a canal is bright and noisy, defying the night. This Amawa stands in the dark, huddled against the cold of the shadows, keeping away from everything. He stares at the door of the lit building, intently studying it. There is a sign hanging on the side of the building. It is barely legible in the dark, but it appears to read, Goose and Fox. Movement from inside the building perks the Amawa up. He pulls his cloak closer around his face, and his breath speeds up, catching slightly. His excitement is palpable. The main door to the establishment opens, releasing a cacophony of laughter and shouting. Light spills out into the street, illuminating a solitary figure in the doorway. The Amawa stands, bringing his right hand up in front of his face, palm down, fingers extended. The figure exits Goose and Fox and stumbles off into the darkness, swaying slightly as it walks unsteadily down the street. The Amawa follows the figure, muttering a few words under his breath and gently wiggling his hand. The tips of his fingers start glowing lightly, steam rising from them against the cold air. He increases his pace, intent on catching the figure disappearing into the night. He shakes his hand once more, and the tips of his fingers burst into flame, the flickering light revealing a manic glee in his eyes. He closes on the figure, nearly hyperventilating with happiness, and whispers a name, Charon. The figure jumps slightly and begins to turn as the Amawa extends his hand, leveling his fingers directly at the figure. So it looks like he's about to light somebody up. Or either that is Charon or it's because of Charon, but we shall never know. The mystery. Goose and Fox, though, that's a tavern we've actually been to. Okay, and what about you, Megnod? Looks like we've got another death godlike, also smoking a pipe. Vibrant History. We'll reach out for the soul. You see this man, much younger, lying on a large stone slab situated on a dais in the center of a circular room. At 7 points around the dais, older men in black robes prostrate themselves over ornate runes worked into the stone of the floor, chanting in a low drone. An 8th man enters, carrying an ebony box, inlaid with gold runes that match the runes on the floor. He stands at the head of the slab, lowers his head, and slowly opens the box. He turns to each prostrate man in turn, tipping the open box in their direction as he does. He then sets the box at the head of the slab, facing away from the young man lying there. He reaches into the box, removing a small cylinder of onyx, and then moves to the end of the slab, stopping near the young man's feet. He holds the onyx up, says a word, and then presses it against the young man's right foot. When it touches his flesh, the onyx softens and becomes a black leech, attaching itself to the young man's soul. The man repeats these steps until there are leeches on both hands and feet, the middle of his chest, his neck, and his forehead. The older man then takes his place at the head of the slab, raising his hands and joining the chanting, watching the young man as his blood drains. Well, that's some kind of creepy ritual, isn't it? Don't know what they're doing there, but it doesn't sound like anything good. Then again, maybe it is some sort of odd healing procedure.
Eyes open.
Hard to say. I don't think the crier has anything new to tell me. He seems to be saying the same stories as always. Although it'd be nice if he said something about, like, the lighthouse or, you know. Yeah, we've heard that before, Crier. Cry about something else. So even after all these reloading, saving, exiting the game, coming back in, they still have that super strange blinded icon on them. Just those two. It's just bizarre. Like, obviously they aren't blinded. Their accuracy and defenses are not reduced as they would be if they were blinded, so don't quite know what's going on there. Her accuracy is very good because she's not using a firearm. Hers is very good, 59. Which actually is awful when you think about it. When you look at like the defenses that some of these things have, you know, the fact that our accuracies are all in like the 40s and 50s at best is terrible. You know, like those ogres. You're already starting off as a penalty just to hit their deflection. Let alone their better defenses like fortitude. Oh, Ogre Matron. She was level 9. She had 99 fortitude. Come on. Or priests have their own cool little picture. Or like a forest lurker. You know? Good luck with that. What if I thought that had like really high deflection? Anything? Throw-up champions have a 59. Wolves have 57 deflection. 73 deflection on a will-o-wisp. That's ridiculous. When our guys have 40s and 50-somethings to hit. That's why you gotta debuff them with like all these. Hey, Flyer Maria, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. But that's because we're on Path of the Damned too. Spectre, 90 deflection. It's a miracle we ever hit them at all. Shades, yeah, I have that 82. So it's very hard to hit the enemies on this difficulty unless you debuff them. You know, you get a couple of those debuffs on them that reduce their deflection, then they're like hittable. Otherwise, we're just grazing them. That's why they take so long to kill sometimes. Good, how's the game? It's great. I just started streaming here just a few minutes ago this time, but yeah, it's going well. He's really advertising bread. Yeah, he's just telling me all the same stories as usual. Watcher. So, I don't know who these fellows are. I don't think these nobles are going to say anything new. The common folk don't appreciate the sacrifices we've made to try and end this. Oh, those ungrateful common folk. Always complaining just because they don't have food or then. Good shelter. Let them eat cake, I say. Ernst Nakazul and Ruben Torres. Ah, these are a couple of vibrant histories, I have a feeling. I have more than a feeling, actually. I'm certain they are, from the color of their More than a feeling. Alright, so yeah, reach out for the soul. Here we go. You see a dwarf, matted beard, slick with rain and dirt. His teeth are gritted in the wind, cloak drawn close. He walks in formation with 21 others, all bearing the same insignia, a mercenary company. They are all soaked with mud and filth, faces broken, shoulders fallen and soft. They do not speak as they move, gathered in an uneven circle. Their guide gestures, an officious-looking Orlan, directing them through the sodden streets toward a rundown building. The ceiling has partially caved in, and something about the too-perfect door causes the party to stop. The Orlan barks at them, agitated. The mercenaries form a tight circle. Something is amiss. Then, hooves, gunfire. They have been betrayed. The fight is fast and efficient. Mercenary blood stains the cobblestone streets as the soldiers round up those remaining. A horse rears out of nowhere, kicking the dwarf in the side of the head. He falls instantly, blood seeping from his ear. Soldiers leave the mess, uncaring, their orders completed. Night falls and bodies stiffen. Rain has all but washed the street clean as the dwarf opens an eye. Groaning. He staggers to his feet, hand on his head. He leaves his cloak on the ground, insignia greeting the sky, and slowly walks away. So, they kind of got owned, and he decided he was done being a mercenary, and quit. That's his little story. And now he gets to spend the rest of his days standing in one spot, having an animated but silent conversation with Ruben Torres. Damn, you should record audiobooks. You're good at this? Yeah, I don't know about that. It would seem like recording audiobooks would be very difficult. I'm amazed at how good the narrators of those are. Like, they never make any mistakes. Well, I mean, obviously they're recording, so they could make as many mistakes as they want and then just redo it. But, like, how often, you know, you wouldn't want to constantly be redoing it. So they have to be pretty damn good. And my voice acting is, like, awful. Like, when I try to do accents and stuff, I just sound ridiculous. Alright, Ruben Torres, what do you got for us? He kind of looks like a roguely individual. Yeah, I said roguely. Totally a word. Another vibrant history. We'll reach out for the soul. You see a young boy sneak up the ramp of a giant black-sailed ship. Smile so wide it almost cracks his wind-whipped cheeks. The ship is almost empty, crew out drinking and celebrating their latest haul. The boy easily evades the drunken guards playing cards on the upper decks, trading stories of conquests the boy doesn't yet understand, and runs down the stairs to the docks below. The ship is silent below as he explores, just the gentle lap of the ocean against the hull, and the muffled sound of excited feet running between boxes, stopping at each to peek inside. Another pair of footsteps, and the boy jumps, hiding behind a collection of sacks. Their footsteps disappear, eventually, but the boy is asleep, and the ship roars into life as her drunken crew make a breakneck escape with an accidental stowaway. Ah, maybe he was sneaking aboard to look through their stuff, maybe steal some things, then they took off with them. Maybe he ends up getting discovered and becomes part of the crew and ends up becoming a pirate. Maybe that's his background, how it happened. I don't think we're ever going to learn anything more about him, but he looks pretty piratey to me. You're amazing. Thank you. That's
All right,
a
then.
nice thing to say.
Slowly now.
I don't know, maybe if I really practiced it and stuff, I could do it. We're gonna go down here before we go up to the Ducal Palace. This is a much nicer looking part of town than some of the others. What's up, Commoner? What's up,
This
Commoner?
was once
Hey,
hallowed ground for Woodica's faithful. I wonder how long it's been abandoned.
Who just said that?
If it makes you rest easier.
I mean, it kind of sounded like Durance, but it clearly wasn't the same voice actor. Oh. See, that's what's even weirder. It was Grieving Mother that just said that. But that was so not Grieving Mother's voice. What the hell? That was weird. Grieving Mother, why are you doing voices? Once hallowed ground for Woedica's faithful. I wonder how long it's been abandoned. Well, obviously a while. I don't think any of these commoners are going to tell me anything new. No, they're kind of saying the same stuff as usual. Well, here's a Valian diplomat, though. Hey, come here. Being assigned to the embassy in Defiance Bay is an immense honor. Local politics only matter if they disrupt the flow of trade. The Republics will more than welcome any of Defiance Bay's animancies. Animancers if animancy were to be banned. Oh, I've talked to one of these guys before. Because I've heard that exact line. What passes for Valian cuisine in this city is pathetic. That seems to always be the case, though. If you're from somewhere and you go to another country far away and they have food that's supposedly the food of your country, it's always like ridiculously bad compared to, you know. Unless you go to London. London seems to have some pretty amazing ethnic cuisines. The best Indian food I've ever had in my life was in London. They had amazing Indian food there.
Alright then.
Oh yeah, we've heard that. I know the actually the catacombs are safe again, because I killed everything in there. Another Justicar. Won't be long before we're a formal knighthood. Don't hold your breath. We're responsible for the safety of every person in the city. Heard that. We've heard that. So this is the Crucible Keep. So this is the headquarters of the Crucible Knights. We have a quest in here. Actually, I think we have a quest in every single building on this map. We do, yeah, so. Just seeing if there's anything hidden around here. You never know when you find something hidden. That's why it's called hidden. So I'm not going to go into the Crucible Keep just yet until I've explored the rest of this outside area, but I do need to go in there. And this just, okay, this is just world map. So the Temple of Woedica is here, and it's obviously super ruined. Doesn't even have a ceiling anymore. A roof or whatever. It's not right. Regular folk like us should be allowed to attend the hearings. You do know there's not enough space in there for everybody, right? All I'm saying is, where's our representative? Who's speaking for the common folk? They must be talking about the hearings on animancy that are being held.
Alright then.
I don't know that I agree with them. I mean, or agree with her. Like, people that don't know anything about it have no place in the hearings, I don't think. Animancers should be speaking, and those who are against animancy for, you know, reasons that know what they're talking about should be able to speak. But just random commoners that don't really know anything about it, they just want to go in there and spout off. I don't like, that's why they don't allow just, oh. What's going on here? It's a spirit.
Praise to the exiled queen. May her crown be restored and her justice prevail. Come to pay your respects to the queen that was.
See, that guy's doing much better voice acting than I would have done reading his lines. A ghost hovers in the middle of the ruin, reciting blessings and prayers. Even as the spirit's form shifts and swirls, it retains the face of an elderly man and robes that mark wealth and status. It turns to you. Not really. I don't like Wodika very much, to be perfectly honest with you. Who are you?
Lord Ardwellen Rugforb III, and pleased to make your acquaintance. I came to the Deerwood on one of the first ships from Adia, and unlike the yokels and hut dwellers around here, I still keep to the old ways.
A lord. And yet his ghost remains in these ruins, so something's going on with him. So he was one of the first colonists, and everybody calls him the Glonfathan's hut dwellers. Everyone. It's so rude. They don't dwell in huts, exactly. To be fair, they dwell in tents. No, just kidding. They do kind of dwell in huts. It's truly a pity to see what the locals have done to Wodika's house of worship. What are you doing?
Worshipping Wodika, the exiled queen and oathbinder. I come every day to offer my devotion. I'd love nothing more than to book passage back to Adia, but it is my emperor's wish that I serve in these barbaric lands. And so I do.
His expression fades into confusion. Shrugs. So he doesn't know he's dead. And that his emperor is probably dead, and oh, I can even point that out, but I won't yet until I ask him these other things. I'd like to know more about Wodika.
A queen among the gods. She oversees laws and oaths. Everything has a rightful place, and Wodika watches over them all.
The ghost's hazy features sharpen with delight, so he's really happy to talk about his god. Wodika, he said. Not Wodika, not Wodika, not Wodika. Wodika.
Of course, not everyone accepts this. Even among the other gods, her authority is questioned. But Wodika is also goddess of memory and vengeance, and she remembers. She'll remember every slight and trespass when she reclaims her throne.
Wodika. I keep saying it wrong. Ghost's expression churns. Slowly the ghost nods. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of vindictiveness in my deities. That's just me, you know, so... No, thank you, sir. I was told I'd find the Temple of Wodika here.
And so you did. These savage colonists may have burned it down, but worship of the Oathbinder is alive and well. These stairs lead to the main sanctum.
The ghost's misty visage contorts in a scowl. What stairs?
These stairs, of course. The sanctum was always below ground, adjacent to the catacombs, so it wasn't destroyed by the fires.
Oh, I see. The ghost gestures to an impassable pile of rubble. Like the rest of the ruin, it seems to have remained untouched for over a century. Oh, so yeah, this has been ruined for quite a long time. Alright, so you remember when I was in the catacombs, I found an entrance to the Temple of Wodika in there, but I didn't go through it because I thought, oh, I'd rather go in through the main entrance on the ground floor. But obviously there is no main entrance, it's blocked off, so you have to go through the catacombs. So that is the only way to get in there, which is cool. So when I'm ready to go in there, after I do the rest of the stuff in this area, I will go back through the catacombs and go in there. Cool. Tell me where I can find an entrance to these catacombs, I say after I've already been in the catacombs and, like, bought a bunch of shit in there.
There are various entrances throughout Defiance Bay, but I dare say the easiest to reach is in Copper Lane. I haven't been to that part of town in ages, but as I recall, it's somewhere near the southern gate.
You know that you're a ghost, right?
I beg your pardon? Is this some sort of joke where you come from?
Yeah, I just go around telling people they're a ghost. It's hilarious. I'm serious. Just look at yourself.
A madhouse. That's what this town really needs.
Actually, this town has a madhouse, as it turns out. He closes his eyes and massages his temples with wispy fingers. Okay, well, I guess it's hard to convince a ghost they're a ghost. Some people are just in denial, even after they're dead. Goodbye. Okay, well, quest completed. I mean, not completed, but updated. The Temple of Woudica. I don't know why that's so hard for me to say. The Temple of Woudica is in ruins, above ground at least. A half-buried staircase indicates there is more to the temple below ground. Although the staircase is inaccessible to me, it's possible that there's another way in. An old spirit haunting the temple told me about an alternate entrance through the catacombs. He said it should be near the southern gate of the Copper Lane district. What? What's this? A hooded man, presumably a member of the Leaded Key, was ambushed on his way through the catacombs. The disguise that would get him past the Leaden Key sentries was lost when the man was carried off by trolls. Okay, that must be because I found that guy's body down there already, and I got the... Remember, I found the hood. The hood of Woudica. I found it already because I found that guy's body down there. See, I'm carrying the hood around right now. Got it. Ooh, I got a lot of tax money. Let's see here. Grand Adventure added. Cool. So I'll send Aloth off on that. Taxes collected. So I only lost 81 this time out of 1,324. That's a lot of tax money. Must be because I have my stuff, like, jacked way up. I mean, my stronghold's essentially completed. Right? Like, all of... It's doing that on its own. Oh, it's this bug again. Where everything automatically scrolls down. And you can't do anything about it. Have to save the game and reload it to make that stop. It might stop if I just change screen, like change maps, you know, like just as soon as I go through a loading screen, I think it goes away. But I have a Grand Adventure now. 2 average items, 750 to 2,000 copper and treasure. Well, yeah. Aloth, get on that. Although it doesn't seem to give XP, so maybe I don't want to send Aloth. Well, I'm going to send him anyway. He's my designated adventure goer honor. Which is a totally legitimate word, by the way. Okay. So, quest is updated. I mean, that's my main quest, so I'm going to do that after some of these other things. But, a hollowing of the deer wood. Oh, and it updated my journal, too. Updated my journal. My biography. In Defiance Bay, you found a temple to Woudica, the purported patron goddess of the Leaden Key. See, that's never actually been stated at any time in the game. It's only now been stated outright here in my biography. That's what I've been theorizing all this time, but nobody has ever actually said that the Leaden Key follow Woudica. So, I guess I was right. But it had burned down long ago. A spirit there suggested that there was also a section of the temple below ground. Okay. Cool. What I'm going to do is... I'm going to quickly save. As in, quick save. And now I'm going to quickly load. Because that'll get rid of that down scrolling bug, which is very annoying. When I look at like my character sheet things and all that, it always does that and it's obnoxious, so... Hopefully I've now eliminated that problem. Or not. Wait, no, I did. It's not doing it anymore. I just did it once. Right? Yeah, and it's not doing it here either. Okay, good. There might be something hidden in here, though. That seems entirely likely. That's the same spirit. Must be the same one. Just say. Weeds grow thick and full, untroubled by the passage of Kith. Ooh, and I found some blood moss. Actually, a little bit surprised that I'm not finding anything hidden. Can't we just dig all that rock out of there? I guess that would take a long time. Nothing new to say there. Okay.
My thoughts will be as silent as my feet.
So... Nobody told me what that burned tower is all about yet. We've got a group of Justicars just hanging out. Dunstan's as gifted in armor as you'll find in the entire city. I don't want to talk to that guy anyway.
All these circling feet heading nowhere.
Okay then, Durance. Thanks for your random non sequitur comment. Oh, here's the Valiant Embassy, which Pelagina wants us to go into for her quest. You have business with the Republics. Welcome to the Valiant Embassy. That's it, huh? That's all you guys have to say? We've heard that. We've heard that. Heard that. And that. Okay. Let's get dinner at the Charred Barrel tonight. I can't. The trade agreement with Fleetbreaker Castle fell through. Need to come up with some revisions by morning. I don't know where Fleetbreaker Castle is. Sounds interesting. I've been to the Charred Barrel, though. Not a bad place. I think I prefer the, I believe there's nothing hidden over here, either. This map is failing me on hidden stuff. I'm just saying. It's supposed to be like, you know, like random cobblestones with loot under them. Alright, we got ourselves a Quinlan grapple wind here. I guess he grapples the wind. Sounds like a Pretty difficult thing to do. He's gonna have a vibrant history for us. Vibrant history. You see solemn faces, hundreds of them. They stand in silent remembrance. A town officially lamenting the sacrifice of some brave hero. His companions stand to the side, empty. The official tells their story, the saving of the village, the story of the one lost to the trolls in the battle as best he can, but the faces of his friends say far more about the veracity of the speech. Finally, it's over, and the villagers move back to their lives. The adventurers mill about for a time, talking, remembering, before heading back to the inn for the night. They mourn in their own ways. Tears, anger, zvef, broken bottles. Leader of the group stays quiet, gaze inward. Weeks pass, and he speaks little, leaving the inn early in the morning and returning late at night, exhausted. Finally, he takes the others to see it. A statue, life-sized, beautiful in its crude design. The villagers mounted in the square as the group leaves, still empty, but a little less broken. The statue smiles at them as they leave. So, I guess Quinlan Grapplewind lost his buddy, and he carved a statue. Okay, then. And now he stands around smoking a pipe, wearing a whole lot of mail. Good for you, Quinlan Grapplewind.
If secrets whisper here, I shall listen for them.
Defiance Bay will lead the Deerwood into a new era. Okay. Is it my imagination, or is this statue, which is the same statue we've seen everywhere else in the city, does it look a little bit fancier here? Like a I don't know, a different color palette maybe than the other ones? Like the other ones just seem kind of like more gray, and this one's kind of got some lighter. Is it my imagination, or do you think it's just the lighting or something? Could be. Since this is like the central government kind of district, maybe the statue is actually fancier here. Maybe it's made of something different. What's up, Noble? Okay, fine. Move on then. What about these two? They gonna have a little conversation? No? Most of these people don't really have anything new to say to me, I'm noticing. There's Ravadav Dur, though. Ravadav Dur. Vibrant history. Reach out for the soul. You see a trio of Orlans, bright and gaudy, their instruments weapons, as they compete with one another in brutal disharmony. Behind them, a troupe of performers roll, jump, and gesture, teeth flashing with exquisite sharpness as they enact some bizarre pantomime. The smallest, one moment seemingly a child, and the next an old man, thrusts obscenely at the crowd, eyes glazed behind his rictus grin. The crowd jostles uncomfortably at his display, dissatisfaction in their midst. No money is thrown, no praise given as the performers continue their display. The crowd disperses uneasy, and the man-child's grin grows obscene as he watches them go. Well, that's a very strange little person.
If secrets whisper here, I shall listen for them.
Animancy isn't the problem, it's the solution to all our ills. I don't think that's very likely, sir. Don't think that's very likely at all. So there really is not much in this area of First Fires, other than, I mean, there's these 3 buildings you can go into, all of which are quite big, but Like, as far as out here, there's not much going on. This is like a side entrance into the Ducal Palace. Did it just become nighttime? Yeah, it's hour 20, so I guess. We've heard of this Dunstan. We shall see how good of an armorer he really is. When he's in the... whatever you call it, the... I remember this spot. This spot right here. This corner of this building. Because they showed it to us in, like, early screenshots in the backer beta. It's like one of the first screenshots they showed us, and they were showing us, like, how the lighting worked in the game. So, like, there was more than one version of the screenshot. One with, like, no lighting and one with the lighting applied and stuff. But, yeah. So now I finally found this place that they showed us with the lighting. That's funny. We demand to see the Duke! He's busy. Settle down or you'll feel the back of my blade. That's it? You're gonna take that from him, refugee? I didn't want to come here, but my village wasn't safe anymore. Alright, well. So there's like the main entrance to the Ducal Palace, which apparently I can just walk right in. I am kind of a big deal. I mean, here in Defiance Bay, they know me as an ally. Faintly. A faint ally. Ah, a couple more vibrant histories here. Fantastic. They really cram these guys in. And I think that'll be the last... Hold on, let me just make sure there's nothing else.
Too many mines here, all shallow.
Yeah. Grieving Mother not a fan of the mines here, which I can't blame her. They do all seem shallow. I already read that. Group of 3. Oh yeah, okay, so that's it. There's nobody else standing around anywhere on this map that's interesting for us to talk to or whatever. So now it's just a matter of going inside the 3 buildings. So, this one's for Adair. This one's for Palagina, and this one's just a general quest for whatever. So, I think I'll go ahead and go into the Ducal Palace first, since I'm closer to it. And it's interesting that there's 2 different entrances. But I'll go in this main entrance first. Maybe there'll be a thing where like I can't get past some people into a restricted area, but if I go in the side entrance I can or something. I don't know. What exactly did Adair want me to do in here?
Hey.
Oh, he didn't say that before. Defiance Bay is, well, it's not exactly what I was hoping. Say what you want about Gilded Vale. At least they could all agree they wanted to hang me. I want to ask something about you. If you're sure. I guess I've already asked him all of this, so there's nothing.
What's on your mind?
Let's keep moving.
I'm ready. Need something?
Nothing new there either.
Your thoughts must flow deeply indeed. Your mind comes bearing questions, Watcher.
Yeah, no, nothing new there. Okay, so just have to check my quest. So Fragments of a Scattered Faith. This is Adair's personal quest. Right? He thought that Merwald could answer the questions, but Adair, he couldn't. So now We're going to go to the Records Archive. Adair believes he may be able to find more about the circumstances of his brother's death in Defiance Bay. He suggested there might be records of the Saints' War in an archive in the Ducal Palace. So that's what we're looking for in here. I'm going to quick save before I go in.
My thoughts will be as silent as my feet.
Okay, let's go in. New map discovered, Ducal Palace. How are we doing on XP? Ooh, not good at all. We've got a long way to go to level 8. So, yeah. Hey, this song. This is the song I just had playing before my stream started. Well, this place looks fancy, doesn't it?
Of course.
Welcome to the Ducal Palace.
Welcome.
The young woman wears a simple but well-tailored uniform. She watches the comings and goings around her with quiet attention. Any news to share, or are you just here to see the Ducal Palace? Who are you? I'm a page here at the palace. I deliver messages and run errands for the Duke and his advisors. The pay's not great, but I can't think of a better introduction to politics. So basically, she's an intern. I also get coffee. Looking for news? What's the Ducal Palace? It's kind of a silly question, but it's the palace where the Duke lives. It's the seat of government here in Defiance Bay. This is where Duke Admeth Hadrit declared freedom from Adiran rule some 150 years ago. She lowers her voice and grins. It's also a hotbed of regional politics. Trust me, the gossip here beats what you'll find in any tavern or brothel in the city. Alright, I loves me some gossip. Let's get this done. Ah, Deerwood politics. It changes too quickly to be worth keeping up with. Better to strike up conversation in the taverns than try to loiter inconspicuously in the palace corridors. Alright, thanks for your opinion, Kana. What goes on in here? She laughs. Where to start? We've got meetings, public hearings, and ceremonies, and that's just the stuff that happens out in the open. She leans a little closer. This is where the Duke and his key advisors work, so there's always someone bartering for a favor. Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to talk about that side of things. Uh-huh. But if you want the official version... She clears her throat and gestures counterclockwise around the palace. We have a shrine devoted to Magran, official records, and chambers for public hearings and council meetings. Tell me about the shrine of Magran. It's a symbol of Magran's protection of Defiance Bay. She's represented the revolutionary spirit of the Deerwood ever since independence, and her involvement in creating the Godhammer bomb only affirmed her importance to us. So I wonder, is Magran kind of the patron deity of Defiance Bay? In the same way that, like, Athena was a patron deity of Athens? That'd be pretty interesting. Because there's no, like, temple of Magran anywhere here that I've found. I mean, so if this is like the main building of the town, and there's a shrine of Magran in here. I guess that's like the best they have. I wonder if Durance is going to say anything, since he's a Magran priest of sorts. She scratches her neck. That's also where the first of the sacred fires burn. But Firga, the tranquil ardent, has had trouble keeping them lit. That sounds intriguing. Is there a hearing going on right now? Sure is.
Duke Avar has been meeting with some of the city leaders for weeks now, trying to figure out how to address the legacy. The whole business is terribly secret, though. I tried to sit in the gallery during my lunch break one day and got turned away. She sniffs. But a lot of the talk concerns animancy, so there's good reason they're keeping the meetings behind closed doors.
This is where I pretend not to know what Widewind's legacy is again. The legacy?
Widewind's legacy. That's what a lot of people call the Rash of Hollowborn. The theory goes that it's punishment for meddling in animancy.
Yeah, so I've heard. This is where I pretend to not know what Hollowborn are.
What are Hollowborn?
She raises an eyebrow.
You really are fresh from the road. Hollowborn are children born without souls. They often don't live for very long, and those that do have generally received some kind of treatment from the animancers.
Yeah, like the hundreds of thousands of them, or tens of thousands, that have been turned into wicks because animancers thought it was a good idea to put animal souls into human children? Brilliant. Alright, so yeah, I'm not a fan of animancy at all. Everything I've seen them do has pretty much ended poorly.
Why is animancy so controversial?
She laughs.
Where to begin? Traditionalists think it's a crime against the gods. There's no question that poking around in souls is risky, but the more progressive elements believe it's our only shot at restoring healthy births. And it doesn't help matters that animancy research often involves old Angwithan relics that were illegally looted from ruins in Air Glanfith.
She makes a quick twitching motion with her index and middle fingers. Oh, she just made air quotes. That's what the... I just took my fingers and like started twitching them around to see like what kind of emotion that could have been, right? And I realized when she said illegally looted, her quick twitching motion with her fingers was making air quotes. That's awesome. I can just imagine it.
So, what do you think about animancy? Me? I think the real danger of animancy is confusing a real scholar with an expensive fake. We get a new case here every day. Some poor couple in the Gift or Copper Lane who spent every copper they had on a miracle cure for their unborn child. It never works.
She shakes her head.
Breaks your heart, but there's usually nothing we can do for them.
Yeah, fake animancers and fake watchers and fake ciphers. Seems like they would be a problem. Because, you know, normal people that don't really know anything about it, they could get taken in so easily.
I see. Anyway, the legacy is what the politicians have all been whispering about lately.
Well, it does seem kind of like a big deal.
What kinds of records are stored here?
I ask as though I have no, you know, just out of pure curiosity. I'm not here to steal any records.
Mostly dull official stuff, census counts, tax records, militia registers. Now, I keep my distance. I got curious one day and got drafted into reshelving half of the records.
She yawns.
Worst day of my life. I'd like to ask about something else. Of course. I've always got my ear to the ground. Tell me about the current Duke. That would be Evar Wolfgren. Don't let the title fool you, though. Our dukes have been elected since independence. Some find Duke Evar rather coarse. He's a frontier noble. Personally, I think a rough-and-tumble type is just what Defiance Bay needs.
So that's the Duke. He's like the ruler of the whole Deerwood. I read that, yeah, I read a little bit about the Deerwood, and that was interesting to see that the Duke is essentially a monarch. I mean, they're an autocrat. They rule. Like, it's not like really a rule by a government. The Duke just rules straight up. But the Dukes are elected. They have a council, you know, kind of like a government council, and that council elects a Duke. But then once the Duke is the Duke, they rule. So that's a pretty interesting system of government. Like, just the idea of an elected monarch, essentially. In fact, I think that's exactly the term it used in the collector book thing that I was reading. as elected monarch. I've never even heard of such a thing. But then the monarch does not get to select their successor. So, like, the duke's son will not become the duke or whatever, unless the duke's son happens to get elected also. Looking for news? Goodbye. Alright, so that's obviously the Shrine of Magron over there. Or maybe that's the shrine with the views. That's probably, I don't know. Or maybe that's where they have the hearings. Yeah, that's probably where they have the hearings. That's probably the shrine. And the records are up there. And that's the side entrance we saw earlier, I suspect.
Here, I shall listen for them.
These Justicars say anything different? Nope. Well, maybe. No matter what goes on out there, the palace is a symbol of local pride for Defiance Bay. So there's a lot of these Crucible Knights around. Only people with official invitations are allowed to observe the Animancy hearings. Only people with official invitations are allowed to observe the Animancy hearings. Yeah, but... Yes, but I would like to go in. Only people with official invitations are allowed to observe the Animancy hearings. But I'm very important. I'm a member of the... I'm friends with the... Only people with official... But, like, I really need to get it. It's important. Only people... Alright, fine. That's basically how I see that conversation going. I'm not going to go through that because it just leads out to the where I was, right? I mean, kind of has to. What happens if I just click on this? You going to get crazy with me? I mean, it's got a lock thing, so it's probably going to say you have to have a certain key to get in there or whatever. Yeah, unlocking this will require the proper key. Fine. What's this? This is just a random little room of some kind. Oh, this must be a guard room, like where they keep there, because that's where all the armor and... They have a lot of helmets. And a lot of boots. Okay, I'm not being observed, am I? No, I'm not. Okay. I'll take your junky helms. Just come in here and steal some helms. I don't care. Alright, so... So this would be the Shrine to Magron. So Durance will probably speak up in here. We'll see. We'll see if he does or not. Let's go in. Most bright Magron, transform us with your flame. That's the priest. Priestess. A stone figure of a warrior gazes toward her raised hand. It's empty, but the palm and fingers are blackened. Ah, okay. Fiery hand of Magron. The floor's cool in here. Look at that. Nothing I can steal here. I will totally steal from the Shrine of Magron. I don't even care. So, I see. So they said something, one of the eternal fires is supposed to be in here, and it was supposed to be always burning, but you can see there is clearly no fires burning here. The hand being blackened, that must be where the flame was, like eternal flame burning on the hand of the statue, but now it's out, because they said Firgo was having a hard time keeping it lit. So maybe she will give me some sort of quest to help light the fire again or something. All I know is I'm quick saving, because I do that obsessively.
Hail, traveler.
The woman's head is bowed as her lips move in prayer. Just as you approach, you catch her glimpsing at the statue near her. She notices you and forces a smile. Praise be to Magron, and welcome to her temple. How may I be of service? Temple? I thought this was a palace. It's both, really.
It's the palace from which Duke Evar governs, but it's also a place of honor and worship for Magran, the goddess who led us to independence and who has always watched over our city. Her smile falters. You seem upset. What's wrong? Her shoulders slump. This is about the fires, isn't it? She puts a hand on your shoulder. They're just symbols. You can't put your faith in them. But your god is the god of fire, and if the fire goes out, that's saying some shit about your god. I'm just saying. Not to be rude, but not much of a fire god if you can't even get one fire lit on a statue. Only symbols. Is that why you're so distressed? Man, I'm starting some shit. No, I just... She sighs with a hiss like a release of steam. I've kept them burning steadily for 15 years, but I haven't been able to conjure them for months now. And people need to see them more than ever these days. So go light them again. I see plenty of flames here. They don't work that way. They're holy fires. It's my devotions and prayers that keep them lit. But lately, when I try to pray, all I can think about are the Hollowborn all over the city, the grieving families, the refugees. She shakes her head. How could Magran allow us to suffer like this? What strength do we gain from a soulless child? Well, I mean, not to tell you your job and shit, but Magran's like the goddess of war and fire and strength and shit. Like, why should she give a shit if you're suffering? Like, she's not the goddess of peace and compassion and mercy and comfort. Like, I don't know if you pick the right god, if you want a god that's gonna coddle you. I mean, this is all what I've learned from Durance. From Durance's descriptions of Magran, she's basically horrible and, like, wants you to go through fire and pain in order to transform and grow or something. So, just saying. You're probably having the wrong kind of crisis of faith based on your god. That's my opinion, lady. Oh, here we go! Boom! Durance just jumped in there and is saying exactly what I just said, basically. Durance grunts with disdain. What strength do we gain from adversity? From trial and test? The fires don't wither because she lacks in faith. They wither because she does not understand how to be faithful to a whore. Like, fucking Durance always calling his goddess a whore. Like, what the fuck, dude? A whore wants neither praise nor devotion. A whore wants to be compensated for her services. And Magran is paid and pleasured in sweat and struggle and pain. This mewling imbecile is unworthy of Magran's womanly heat. Okay, well there's an opinion for you. Durance does not fuck around. He's like... Wow. He's unfiltered. He's so unfiltered. No respectful, like, he doesn't come into the shrine and is like, well, I better pay my respects and be cool to the priestess here. He's just, like, laying it out there. Oh, hey, Jen. How you doing? Wavy wave arm back at you. Yeah, oh, Durance heart. Yeah. We're in a shrine of his god right now, and we're talking to the priestess, and he just starts acting up. How you doing? Good to see ya. So I can ask her that. Shrug. Start to be like, whatevs. I ain't got time to really worry about this god shit. But of course, this is what fits me. So, or this character anyway. Take heart and don't abandon your faith so easily. She nods hopefully, her hands clasped together. You're right. And unfortunately, I believe Magran's been speaking to me again. Oh, and fortunately, I don't know why I read that as unfortunately. Fortunately, I believe Magron's been speaking to me again. She casts a quick glance in your direction. There are some things you can know without quite understanding them. If I'm not mistaken, you seem to know what I mean. I do know what you mean, actually. Lately, I've been seeing visions. A place in the wilderness with pools filled with sunbursts of color. Strange falls that seem to rise to the heavens even while they splash into the earth. She raises her hands as if framing an image of her vision. And behind the falls is a cave, filled with fire and heat and danger, and some token of my goddess.
I knew it. It's going to be a quest here. I can't light the holy fire, so I need you to go brave extreme dangers on my behalf, after which I will reward you with something that is far not worth your time. But, you know, that's what I do. That's what I do.
I know there's something there, but where it is, or how I'd get there.
She shakes her head.
I've been meaning to ask around at the expedition hall to see if anyone recognizes the description. To be honest, though, I don't know what I'd do even if I found the place.
Well, you're sounding kind of useless to me, so it's good that you just stay here whining. I'll go handle this. My endurance always popping in there, saying the same thing I basically just said.
Worthless, like so many of Magron's flock. Afraid of her god's tests. If Magron speaks to her, it is to hasten an end to a hypocrite's life, and this vision is surely a death trap for the weak.
So, in other words, it's going to be hard.
What's the significance of the sacred pyres?
Oh, hey, Shadow Ape. Shadow Ape 34, how you doing? Good to see you.
They symbolize Magron's power and guidance. And right now, the people of Defiance Bay need to be assured of her presence.
She crosses her arms, staring at the statue.
Our neighbors in the Valian republics see us as superstitious, but we're just sensitive to the signs and warnings of the gods. Something else? I'd like to know more about the temple here. Magron is the most revered goddess among us dear Woodens, so it's no surprise that her temple is part of the ducal palace. Her fires symbolize trials, revolutions, and the blazing of new paths, all of which are important to us. She gestures to the statue. This is the first of the sacred pyres. When this is lit, so are the rest around the city.
Oh, I see. That's why I haven't seen these fires lit. Alright, well, this sounds pretty important, so I guess I'll take care of this for you, as I often do for everyone else. Goodbye. New quest, Cinders of Faith. Boom. Cinders of Faith. Firga, tranquil ardent of Magron, has had her faith shaken by the Hollowborn crisis in Defiance Bay. As a result, she's been unable to keep the city's sacred fires lit. They're a symbol of triumph and protection, and they're more important now than ever. Travel to the cave from Firga's vision. Firga has had visions of a cave at a place with multicolored pools and a rising waterfall. She believes that something there would restore her faith, but she also believes that something else there would try to kill her. If I were to find this item for her, she might be able to resume her duties and resurrect the sacred fires of Defiance Bay. Firga didn't know where to find the place she saw in her vision, but someone at the expedition hall might know. Oh, this is what that map's for that I found. All that time. I've been carrying this map around forever. I found a map pinpointing the location of a place called Searing Falls. It's a long journey, but at least I know where it is now. That answers two questions. One was the fact that I've been carrying this map around that I just stole out of somewhere in the expedition hall. This geological map. It marks areas of geological activity in the Deerwood and Air Glanfeth. Of note is a description of a cavern where molten rock flows within a deep chasm. So I've been carrying that around for a very long time, and I had no idea what it was for. And it also explains why, on my world map, Searing Falls is down here shown. I've never found this place. I've never unlocked the way to this place, and yet it's been marked on my map for a while, and I didn't know why. Well, obviously, because I found that map is the answer, and now I know why, because for this quest. So there you go. Mysteries solved. Mysteries solved. Irga.
Hail, traveler.
May you be guided and tempered by the flame. Are you still having the visions of the falls? Her voice is low and quiet. Yes, and of the cave and something within. Some small, bright ember of faith guarded by a terrible danger. I only wish I could go myself.
She turns a guilty gaze on the statue. So, you know, your god's been giving you these visions about this thing, and you don't think you're the one that's supposed to go handle this? Like, the guy would have been giving me the visions if she wanted me to go, or Durance. Seems like kind of a cop-out to just send the first random group of adventurers that wander into your church. Hey, so my god wants me to do this thing, but, you know, I'm kind of not feeling it, so could you go do this for me? You don't think your god's gonna know the difference? I'm just saying, like... I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job, but you seem like kind of a terrible priest. Even my current terrible priest that's in my party is a way better priest than you.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skidding your knuckles on the wrong door.
I don't know if there's really anything new he can tell me. The last time I tried to talk to him, it seemed like he didn't have anything new. But let's find out.
Tell me about Magran.
Gods, you are swelling with questions. One would think you were with child, or burning up inside.
See, I think I've been through all of these dialogues already, and he...
She's a goddess, as fickle as they come.
See, we've heard him say all this before. We've heard him say all that before. See, we've been through all of this. Another god shafted her like a poker. Oh, Durance. We've read all of this.
Words are as welcome as shit on one's boots.
He's got some colorful language. We've read all of this. Read it.
I suspect the answers will seed more questions. Some, shaped for hunt and...
Read that. We've literally read every one of these things before.
When you asked about allies.
Yep. Okay, so I'm pretty darn certain now that there is nothing in this whole branch about Magran that we have not discussed with him already, that we have not heard his answers to.
I suspect the answers will seed more questions.
My only guess at this point is that that's still lit up because there's hypothetically things I could ask him if I were from Adir or I were in Orlan, but I don't qualify for those dialogue branches, so I can't actually ask them. So I think that's why that thing's staying lit up. I think it's the same thing with the region and its history. I wanted to ask about the region and its history. Oh, now he's pissed again.
Keep troubling me, and I may extend the tithe bowl for each question. Enough questions for now. Let the road keep us until the next campfire.
Right, but I'm pretty sure I've already asked him everything I can possibly ask him. So, yeah.
All right, then.
At least until something happens in the plot that gives him new things to say or whatever.
I shall be quiet as a calm sea.
But like,
which is
the Trials of Durance. But like, I had that vision, right? That dream about Durance, and then I tried to talk to him about it, and he didn't really have anything new to say or whatever. So maybe I have to get to a certain point in the plot before the next bit of, you know, dialogue with him will actually unlock or whatever. Okay. Well, we did get a new quest, which is nice. That's a dwarf.
So many refugees come here fleeing a legacy. I doubt they realize that it struck us too.
Oh, we've heard that before. I noticed there's a chest here that I'd like to steal from, and all of you people are standing way too close to it. Oh, we've read those things. I wonder how super sneaky I can be.
Yeah? Got it.
Let's find out. How super sneaky can I be? How super sneaky can I be? This is not looking good. Yeah, no. I can't possibly walk past him and still be... No way I'm getting what's in there. Oh, it's money, too. I want money. Not gonna happen, though. Definitely no way to steal that without having much better stealth than I have. Unfortunately. Or, you know, killing everyone, but killing everyone would be a horrible idea. You may not enter the audience chamber while council is in session without an invitation. But why? Why don't I have an invitation? Don't you guys know I'm faintly an ally of the city? Faintly? Alright, now I need to get these... I need to get these records. I should be able to deal with this records keeper. Anything hidden? Come on. Where all the hidden stuff at? Do me that way. I need to hear that sound. The little sound effect of hidden object found. I haven't heard it in so long. Jonesing for that sound. Alright, let's talk to the records keepers. This is what we're ostensibly even here for. So I can't get into this. I went in here. This is the only thing left in the Ducal Palace. And this is what we need to do. This is what... The first quest we have, I mean the oldest quest in our entire quest log, is that we haven't yet completed, is this one. Adair, he wants these records. So... perhaps the records keeper will just be strangely helpful.
Hello!
A taciturn man with graying hair pores over a tome he's just withdrawn from one of the shelves. He glances up at you with baggy eyes. Okay, so he's old, he's taciturn, and he's tired.
Yes, is there something I can pull for you?
I'm looking for militia records from the time of the Saints' War, trying to find out what happened to someone.
The man clears his throat.
We've had a number of inquiries about such information. I'm afraid we've had to bar access to the public. Seems there are still quite a number of folk in Deerwood who bear ill will toward Raedsarans. It would be irresponsible to surrender their names to just anyone. Many came to settle here as refugees.
Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. Still, though, I'm gonna need those records, so...
Perhaps if you were more established in Defiance Bay, things would be different. But I have no reason to suspect you to be any different from the others.
Ooh, my high perception has allowed me to see something. There is something peculiar about the records keeper's inflection. The differences are subtle, but it does not sound like any native Deerwoodan you've heard. Maybe he's from Raedsaris, and he's trying to protect himself. Wow, since I'm really perceptive, I did not think they would have any dialogue checks of stats higher than 18. The fact that they actually have some higher than 18 is amazing and crazy, because it's hard to get over 18. I only have that 19 that I have because I'm wearing an item that increases my perception. As the records keeper gestures, you also notice faint scars on both his wrists where shackles once clasped. Really? So he was either a prisoner or a slave or something. This is cool. This is really using my stuff. Like, I have high resolve and high perception, so I can say this. Or my high lore. Interesting. I'm gonna go with this.
The Deerwoodans' treatment of Raedsaran prisoners of war and refugees alike was deplorable.
His face twitches. as wincing at the memory of a pain. He looks at you with questioning eyes. He nods, looking away as he does so.
It was, yes.
The records keeper breathes a heavy sigh. He looks up at a shelf and withdraws a thick volume, shifting a layer of dust aside with his hand.
The rosters are in the front, the inventories of the dead in the back.
He passes it into Adair's outstretched hands. Boom! Success!
I will not permit any copying from these pages. Do I make myself understood?
Adair leafs through the book for some time anxiously, running his thick farm-hand's fingers over page after page of names. At last, his hand stops, his fingers just below one name. Looks like you found his brother.
Woden Talej, died 18 Majavernho 2808. Third Battle of Cleaban Relog. Blazing Glonfather names, I swear.
I know, right? I have a hard time pronouncing those fucked up names, too. Thank you, Adair. We're on the same page with the fucking Glonfatha name bullshit. Although the funny thing is, that last name is a Glonfathan last name, with their stupid Glonfathan pronunciations to it, so a bit of an irony there, but... So, is that his last name? Because none of our companions have last names that we know of. So Adair's last name is Talej? We did not know that before. I mean, if that's his brother, then it must be his last name also.
Rayet Saris?
He stops short, his eyes bulging. They scan back and forth over and over.
I'll be the effigy. He fought for Rayet Saris. Why'd he fight for Rayet Saris?
He stared at the page, his jaw agape before suddenly looking up. So he just realized his brother was fighting on the other side of the war from him, which is the side that Durance was on too. So Adair fought in the war against Rayet Saris, and he fought his own brother. I mean, surely he didn't literally battle his own brother, but, you know, he fought against his brother's side. That's interesting. What does it matter? He was a traitor. That's dick. That's a dick move right there. I don't know.
Neither do I, but he had to have had a good reason. That's just who he was.
We gotta go there. That battlefield. Clea, the one I said. I don't know how else I'm gonna make sense of all this. I gotta see what he saw.
Strange look comes over Adair. Well, of course you do. Okay. We can do that. I got you covered.
And who knows, maybe his spirit will even be there and you can have one of your weird talks with him. I mean, worth trying, right?
I have a feeling that is exactly what will happen, because I have weird talks with spirits. It's what I do. Hey, Sleeping Shaw, how you doing? Good to see you. It's going pretty good, man. It's going pretty good. I'm just playing a little Pillars of Eternity. Working my way through it slowly. Very slowly, because that's me with RPGs. Do I watch Game of Thrones? Of course I watch Game of Thrones. Like, who doesn't watch Game of Thrones? Basically. Yeah, Game of Thrones is awesome. Why do you ask? Don't waste my time with this nonsense. What a horrible thing to say to him. Like, why would you do that? I wonder if he'll, like, leave the group if you, like, blow off his quest and tell him it's stupid. We probably won't find anything. No, of course. Number 2 is the only possible answer at this point, at least for this character. I'll help you any way I can. Oh, tomorrow's the season premiere, huh? Aw, shit. I generally like to not watch those kind of shows until the whole season comes out, and then I can watch it all at once. Like, that's what I just did with the I just watched the whole Walking Dead last part yesterday, because I wanted to wait till all of them came out. But I don't know, it'll be tempting. It'll be tempting to watch that. I'll probably wait, though. The only problem with waiting is it's very hard to avoid spoilers on the internet, especially for Game of Thrones. Hard to avoid spoilers, so you kind of want to watch them soon, but I hate the cliffhanger endings between episodes. Like, it's so nice to be able to just watch through a whole season at once and not have to wait, you know, from week to week. I'll help you any way I can.
I appreciate that. Wish I could say you won't regret it, but you certainly might.
That quest updated. Adair's brother Woden fought for Raed Ceres and died in a battle at Cleobon Rilag. He wants to see the battlefield. Records Keeper was unwilling to show us records from the Saints' War, citing concern about vengeful Dear Woodens hunting down Raed Ceres refugees. He said things might be different were my reputation in the city stronger, but then I was able to talk him out of it because I have super awesome perception and lore and stuff. Yeah, Game of Thrones is the most pirated series of all time, so spoilers everywhere. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I pirate it too. I ain't got no HBO. Come on. So this is actually working out pretty well now that I have my stronghold like all the way upgraded, because I collect a lot of taxes, right? And my payment for my hirelings is not that high. And I think we figured out that you have to pay 3 times. Is it doing this again? It's doing this again. You have to pay 3 times for each time you collect taxes or something. Oh, okay. When I leave the map, I'll check that out again, but... Well, thank you, Records Keeper. The man continues his work without looking up. Just looking around. Adair frowns at you and slaps his forehead, but says nothing. Time
to see and not be seen.
The thing is, you know, if this guy is not looking up from his work, he should not really be able to see me stealing shit from these shelves, right? I mean, let's be logical here.
Got it.
Because whatever's on these shelves, I want to own it. Books. Ooh, I haven't read that one. I have read that one. Didn't I? Yeah, this is about Magron. Yep, read it. Haven't read this one, though. This must be about Andra's gift. So, hold on. Those lost in the flood. I never expected to see a massacre such as this in my lifetime. I was in my study, trying to pack up important documents for the evacuation, never dreaming the Adirans would act so drastically. It was my wife, Nielok, who first heard the cracking of the levees. We climbed to the roof when the water reached the top of the stairs. My 3 children, Nath, Libelsa, and Kir, we held. The water reached our chests, and the only thing that kept us from getting swept away before it subsided was holding onto the chimney that we had just repaired. Other families were not so lucky.
When the waters finally subsided, the roads were littered with debris, mud, and rotting fish. Half the district had been swallowed by the sea. Bodies floated in the tide along with what was left in the homes. We burned the citizens we found. The poor souls have nobody else to remember them by, so I'll document them here. I'm not sure if they had loved ones who survived the flood, but it is better their names be written down rather than washed away with so much else in this horrific flood. I'm not going to read the list of names because that's going to contain a whole lot of shit that's hard to pronounce. I'm just looking to see if I recognize any of the names from anything else in the game, but I don't think so. Oh, one at the very bottom, Lilith, the lighthouse keeper. We met her. Well, we met her ghost. Okay, cool.
Yeah?
What if I just sneak over here and help myself to the contents of this shelf? Don't walk all around those. What are you doing? Just, Ooh. The Dowdy Burglar, A Dear Wooden Farce, Part 2. Have not read that. Not reading it till I find Part 1, though. That's usually what I do. Alright. Stealing from that. Oh, there it is. Damn it.
Sure.
It's going to be hard to get. Hold on. See if I can. How super sneaky can I be? It's not going to be easy to get my hands on. No, don't walk that way. What are you doing? Oh, can she not? There we go. I'm almost detected, but not quite. Thanks for playing. Yeah, that 7 stealth is getting it done. Okay. Well, now we get to read A Dear Wooden Farce in 2 parts. Who's excited? I am. Alright, there we go. This is like the 3rd play that we've read. They wrote a significant number of plays in this game. Characters in order of appearance. Belmus, the Dowdy Burglar. Torfall, the Man of the House. Klana, the Lady of the House. Pafenda, the Maid. And Iraby, an important visitor. This reminds me of Shakespeare. I love that in the beginning of the Shakespeare's plays how they have the list of characters and it like tells you like what they are in a brief, you know, something like that. That's pretty cool. Josiah, say hi to my mom. Hi, Mom. She likes your stream, is that right? Well, thank you. Thank you. Setting, interior. Sitting room of Torfall's house. Night. The stage is dark. The door to the room opens and Belmus enters, holding a candle. He walks slowly through the room, picking up items, examining them, and replacing them. Presently, there is a noise off stage. Belmus freezes and listens. Torfall, off stage.
Enough of this nonsense! I told you we would be returning early!
Klana, off stage.
You said early! You didn't say we would be inexcusably rude!
The voices are approaching the door to the sitting room. Belmus extinguishes that candle and hides behind a chair at the end of the stage opposite the door. The door opens. Torfall, entering, followed by Klana and Pafenda, voice even and controlled.
This meeting is very important, Klana, my little cowslip. Iraby is taking this meeting himself. This is unheard of.
Klana.
But, Torfall!
Torfall.
Not another word!
Belmus's head appears over the chair during this exchange. He watches the three interact. When Klana talks, he is entranced by her. Gorfall.
Pathfinder, have all the preparations been made for Iraby's arrival?
Pathfinder.
Yes, sir. The special brandy has been brought from the cellar, and the other refreshment has been prepared as well.
Klana.
Other? Torful, don't you dare!
Torful.
If that's what it takes, Klana, that's what I'll do. Now go prepare yourself for Iraby's arrival. We must all look our best. This contract must not fail.
She wants to know why I have a golden retriever? Because I bought one. Somebody had one for sale, and I was like, well, I must have this dog. Yeah, it's an awesome dog. It's a golden lab. They're such good dogs. All three leave the room. Belnus stands. Belmus.
Who was that vision? Who was that goddess? Who was it that has stolen my heart just as surely as I would steal hers? I must know her. I must meet her. I must have her. But how?
Dun dun dun. How will he find her? How will he meet her? How will he have her? We don't know. That's the end of part 1. Fini. Someday, perhaps, we will read part 2. Wait! Wait! What is this? Providence! We have found part 2 already. We don't have to wait. The cliffhanger can be revealed. There better not be like a part 3, and I don't know what's going to happen. Like, alright, so that goes right into the box. Part 2. We can do part 2 right now. Yeah, look at my dog. Aww. How cute he is. I mean, I have a bunch of pets. He's singularly happy to accompany me, panting merrily as it lopes beside you. Come here. Look at him. Look at him. He's really small, though, isn't he? Like, that's obviously not a fully grown. But I also have my, you know, I have my black hound, and my tiny white worm, my tiny obsidian worm, and my undead cat, and my giant miniature space piglet. You know, I got pets. So this is my other dog that I had. I found him abandoned at this inn, and his master had gone missing, so I took him with me. He's pretty cool. I got this cat. This cat is like part undead, or I mean not part undead. It is undead. And it was in the possession of this evil, like, animancer person that was down in the dungeon that was doing experiments, and she had this, like, reanimated undead cat, and so I took it, of course. You gotta have yourself an undead cat sometimes. It doesn't really look all that undead from a distance, but I had to have it. And then these two I got. Like the obsidian, the little worm, I got this for being a Kickstarter backer, so I didn't actually find this in the game. But it's pretty awesome. It flies around. None of these pets actually do anything, they just look cool. You and your animancers, no, animancers are bad. But I actually found this worm. I found it's in its egg, like just hatching in the endless paths of Adnua beneath my keep. I found it and I took it because, you know, why wouldn't you? It appears to have been the runt of the litter, for it is much smaller than its fellows. For all that, its scales are a beautiful gleaming white, and it seems to be fond of you. Yeah. And then the giant miniature space piglet, I think everybody who pre-ordered the game got. And it, you know, of course, it looks amazing. It's like translucent and it has like stars in it and stuff. Pretty great piglet. Yeah, you can see stars and stuff in there. This tiny titanic pig has an otherworldly appearance that seems to be at odds with its endearing behavior. Follows you dutifully and requires nothing in return save companionship. It's kind of a reference to Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2. There was a character in those games called Minsk who had a little pet hamster called Boo, but he referred to it as a giant miniature space hamster. So, that's kind of a joke. But this dog I actually bought from an innkeeper. Saw that he had him for sale, and I said, yep, gotta have him. Now then, now that the intermission is over, let's see what happens with the dowdy burglar. Belmas stands in front of the drink tray. Belmas, picking up a small metal box next to the brandy.
What could possibly convince him to give her up?
Belmas opens the box and observes its contents. He looks up, a wicked grin on his face. He closes the box and sets it down. He turns his back, lost in thought. The door flies open and Torfel enters. He sees Belmas and stops. Belmas turns at the noise of the door, eyes wide. Torfel, beat.
What?
Belfus immediately rushed, interrupting. Torfel, my good man! Such a pleasure to finally meet you after so long. Oh, I get it. He's going to impersonate the guy that he's meeting with. Torfel, beat. Who? Belmas.
Iraby, surely you were expecting me. Did you not get word I would be here tonight?
Torfel, beat.
When?
Belmas.
I only now just arrived. The weather kept me up, else I would have arrived sooner.
Torfel, beat.
How?
Belmas.
Perfenda let me in and told me to wait for you in here. She said she was off to find you.
Torfel, beat.
Iraby, of course. Welcome to my home. So sorry for my manners. I was not expecting you for at least an hour.
They shake hands, and then Torfel starts pouring drinks for them. Belmas.
Yes, well, it's just this contract. I am eager to settle the matter. We both know it must not fail, don't we?
Torfel stops. Torfel.
But I was told you were against this. I invited you here to convince you.
Belmas.
Would you rather I change my mind back? Shall we argue a belabored point, or shall we celebrate our new accord?
Torfel, laughing.
Of course, of course. How stupid of me.
Torfel holds a glass out to Belmas. Torfel.
To business!
Belmas.
To business!
Belmas sets the glass down and picks up the box. He opens it and sticks his finger inside. It comes out with a dark paste on it. He reaches toward Torfel's mouth. Belmas.
Shall we celebrate properly?
Torfel.
Oh, no. I never touched Svef, but I knew you were partial to it. By all means, go ahead.
Belmas grunts and looks at his finger. He approaches Torfel. Torfel.
I must say, this turn of events is quite welcome. I was quite sure it would take hours to...
Belmas, thrusting his finger at Torfel's mouth.
What is that?
Torfel, turning his head. So Belmas's finger passes by his lips without touching.
What?
Belmas, sighing.
Oh, nothing, my mistake. I was sure I saw something.
Belmas walks around behind Torfel and approaches him from the other side. Torfel.
I was sure it would take hours to convince you to see things from my side. It does my heart good, too.
Belmas, thrusting his finger at Torfel's mouth again. The fuck, this is kind of a... Well, it is a farce.
There it is again!
Torfel, turning his head so Belmas's finger passes by his lips without touching.
What? Where?
Belmas, under his breath. Damn. Louder.
Nothing. I guess I was imagining things.
Torfel.
That must be incredibly potent Svef. I've never heard of it working before application. Be careful now.
God damn it. There is going to be a part 3 because this is clearly not resolved. Alright. Get in the box. Then I'm going to find part 3 like 20 hours from now. I'm not even going to remember parts 1 and 2. That's it. There's nothing more to loot in here. Maybe if I kill the records keeper, he has it. No, I'm not going to kill the records keeper. But, alright. And I think that's going to do it for this episode. I still can't... I need an invitation to get into this... important, hearing this taking place about animancy, but nope. No invitation do I have. Maybe no, she didn't have anything new to say. Okay. Yeah, and this is that side entrance. I have no idea why there's two entrances. That's interesting. Right, well, that's everything on this map except for going into the Valiant Embassy and going into Crucible Keep, so... we will go to the Valiant Embassy next. Running very fast on fast mode. Like, this is the actual speed that the characters move at, like, for reals, but... you know, when you're crossing these maps, but I keep it in fast mode because usually
whisper here. I shall listen for.
I'm in scouting mode, so I can find hidden stuff and whatever. And if there's enemies, they don't see me right away. But when you're in scouting mode, but not fast mode, look how slow it is. I mean, that is a crawl. So, gotta be fast mode so that at least they don't, you know. Fire exit, yo. Yeah. So it's up to code. Right. So I guess I can just walk right in here. But that's going to be in our next episode. It's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. This has been Josiah Plays Pillars of Eternity.